Okay, well, they say every dog has its day, so I suppose today is this dog's day. This engine's a 4 horsepower Briggs that I've had sitting around for a fair while now. I got it off the rubbish collection off the lawnmower. Had a valve seat had come out of its placement. So anyway, I had to pin that one back in there. And ever since I've never really done anything with it. I had it running afterwards, but then I took it off the mower and did nothing with it after that. So anyway, it's got a fair bit of oil in the cylinder from sitting upright for the past, whatever it is, 2 years. It's sat spark plug facing down, so we'll need to clean that out. So anyway, I've already loosened the bolts, so now we use a handy dandy drill. We'll take them out. Okay, well, this shows how much the engine's been used. Now, I never cleaned it out, but that's how much carbon it has in it. It looks brand new. You can see there where I pinned the seats back in with a centre punch and a hammer. I just closed the valve, stuck the seat back in there, closed the valve, then used a hammer, small hammer and a centre punch, and punched all the aluminium around it to hold the seat in there. I've done that quite a few times and it's never failed me, so anyway, it's not the correct way to do it. You're meant to take it out, put it back in, regrind the valves and the seats so that they match up, but my way works just as well, I reckon. But as you can see, well, you probably can't really see from the camera, that's a pretty good bore. There isn't much wear in it. There's a little bit, because I think when I did get it, it had no oil in it, so it had probably overheated, and that's why it threw the seat. So anyway, I was lucky the seat fell out before any damage was caused. So anyway, we'll give it a bit of a clean out. Looks like there's a bit of crap all down there. I'll get the compressor and blow all that out, clean it up a little bit, and then we've got a few bases over here to choose from. So this one's the first one. Oh well, that'll do. Alright. So I'll just give this a bit of a clean up. Okay, so cleaned her up a bit, got rid of some of the shit off it. Then I went and found this priming carbide here to come off a 375 Briggs, so it should work on here. If it doesn't, I'll just put a standard carb on here, but it should start a bit better with this one anyway. So now, oh shit, I lost a bit out of my drill. There it is. So anyway, I'll put that back in. Chuck's a bit loose. Anyway, makes it a lot easier having a drill with a socket adapter on it. It's a bit like an air tool. When it gets to a certain tension it stops. So anyway, now we'll have to line all these holes up. But I just had a look at the cowling there and found this is a 1982 Briggs. It did used to have a points ignition on it, but I took that off and put just a normal condenser, not condenser, electronic ignition, just off a normal Briggs and Straton. I'm not quite sure why the tape was on there, so I just left it on there. I think it was something to do with the kill wire to keep it away from the other crap. So anyway, I'll get that carby bolted up and put the cowling back on, then we'll be ready to put it on the base over there. Might try and start this piece of shit sometime this afternoon. It's a good workbench, but I suppose it'd be better if it were driving around. So I know that needs a carby clean out, but I can't be bothered at the moment, so we'll just try anyway. Alright, so I'll get this cowling on. Okay, so in keeping with the very sophisticated colour scheme we've got going here, with a nice overspray red air filter to match the nice orange adapter type thing for the carburetor. So anyway, now we'll get serious. We're going to remove the blade plate off this mower here to put onto that mower, just because I can't be bothered bloody, you know, can't be bothered finding one anywhere else. So anyway, I've just locked my pair of vice grips onto here and push them up against the wheel. So then what I do is get the breaker bar on your socket. It's generally a 9/16 bolt on there. Then you get trusty hammer and just tap it loose. Now I've already loosened it, so it'll come off a bit easier if you don't drop your socket, that is. So anyway, undo all that. Once you've taken that bolt all the way out, you'll have another 3 bolts here. There's only one in this one for some reason. Then there's 1/2 inch or 12mm. Are they 12? They're either 12mm or 1/2 inch bolts in there, self-threaded bolts that go into the block. And if you don't have them, then there will just be normal nut and a bolt. So I'll undo them and remove this engine, and we'll keep the mounting hardware so we can mount that engine on that base. Okay, so if you want to help yourself, if you're using these self-tapping bolts, the best thing to do is, if the engine you're putting, the new engine you're putting on the base hasn't already got those threads in the block, what you do is you take these self-tapping bolts and you'll just thread it in while the engine's sitting on the ground like that. You'll just thread it in about 2 or 3 turns just to get the bolt started. So now I've got these bolts all the way in. So there are 10 engines attached here. So we'll do them up, not terribly tight because they don't come undone, but do them up tight enough because they've actually got quite a good grip in them. But if you do them too tight, then they'll strip and you'll have to put a normal bolt in there anyway. I would recommend buying these bolts and use them because they save a hell of a lot of trouble when you try and get an engine on by yourself, because you don't have 6 hands, which everybody needs. Seeing as we only have 2, it's much easier with these self-tapping bolts. So anyway, I'll do the engine up tight and then we'll put the blade plate on. Okay, so I've just started all these bolts, got them in so they're just finger tight. I did put new lock washers on all of them, which is a very good idea because the old ones get all flat and screwed up. So they don't cost much. I mean, this set here cost me about $5. And it's got all these washers and crap in it. So anyway, you'll then get your breaker bar again, and you won't let it fall off, but you'll put your vice grips up against the wheel once again, and then you'll just tap on that end with the hammer until it's nice and tight, not too tight but tight enough. And then those small ones, just do them up as tight as, you know, not too tight but tight enough. Like they're pretty damn tight now. So anyway, I'll do that, fill her up with oil and petrol, and then she's ready to go. Okay, so some cheap ass motor oil later. I've filled her up and put some petrol in her so she's ready to try. I've got the air filter off at the moment because I'll adjust this spring here to make sure that it has the right speed. The spring's a bit sort of dodgy. Anyway, I've already primed it up, so we'll see how it goes. It's probably not the best idea to do this with no shoes on, but you know, shit happens. Okay, so that's pretty good. Alright then, so that's basic, you know, how to mount a lawnmower engine on a base. See you next time.